All right, I was gonna turn the camera around, but that was like too much sauce. I have to like hold it up here and like way up there. And I was super not down to do that. So what are we looking at? I did something today. Oh yeah, I got really pissed off today. And this was something I want to talk about because it's like, I don't know where like all the anger came from. Um, like I was just saying, I don't know if this in the last video or earlier in this video, um, I just hit this like huge milestone. The app's on the App Store. I'm making 4 cents in revenue. But I definitely got like super impatient. I think with the end of summer coming, I feel kind of disappointed with how far I got. I really wanted to, really like start and build an online business. And I mean, it's like technically I have a product at this point, but it's not really a product. It's more like a prototype. It's an MVP. It's a minimum viable product. And I guess honestly, like that's not too bad for 2 months, 3 months, with a lot of traveling and a little bit of working, and doing other things. I got like LinkedIn set up. I got Upwork kind of set up. But I don't know. I really wanted to be in a position where it's like I could start making income. And here's where like a lot of, I guess, the inner conflict comes from is like, obviously like I'm in a good position. Like I have college is paid for, housing is paid for, and food is paid for, right? So I'm like, that's not going to last forever, obviously. But for now, I'm not in a bad position. It's like I'm going to turn 23 pretty soon. So that only lasts for so long. Obviously, college is coming out of a fund that, well, not obviously, but that's coming out of a fund that my grandmother put together during the first 2 years of college. I barely spent any money just because I was taking online classes at community colleges. So that was really good. But housing, food, and then if we start talking like actually wanting to spend money on things like kickboxing, because I have this kickboxing gym that I go to that costs money, or investing money into the online business, or wanting to go on trips, go to conventions, all of that costs a lot more money. And if I want to do any of those things, I've got to make that money. Snowboarding, man, that's expensive. I want to do like, Airbnb trips with friends and stuff. And so I have to have some kind of income to do that. And I'm just not in a position to really be making income. I put a lot of time and effort and energy into this app. And I feel like from the outside, it looks like I'm in a good position, but from where I'm standing, I feel like I could be a lot further. I feel like I can see a lot of instances where it's like, okay, if I worked with like 10% more efficiency every day this summer, I would have been able to really establish like a good online portfolio for Upwork for coding. Maybe I could have set up like LLM application, like services. Maybe I could have created that tutorial series that I kind of talked about a few times. I don't know. And then it's like those would have been potential like real sources of revenue that I could have right now. On top of that, I just signed up to get my iOS certification. That could help, but it's like I'm not really in a position to be applying to jobs. I only applied to like a couple of jobs the other day, and all of those required like 2 years of experience, which I don't have. I looked into some Upwork jobs. I could look more into Upwork. I don't know. It's just like, and then it's like school is starting. I feel like, it's computer and electrical engineering. It's a fucking doozy. That's going to be another 16 weeks where I kind of inch through. I'm going to have to really choose like one thing to prioritize. And I think that's going to be the app, because then it's like I have Christmas break and then I'm back to school. So I'm not going to be taking on like a full-time job during that time, or even a part-time job during that time. I could maybe manage that, but then at that point it's like kind of bail on the app and also bail on like kickboxing and swing dancing to some degree. Swing dancing I could sacrifice. Kickboxing, I don't know. And I could probably sustain kickboxing, school, and part-time job. But then at that point, it's like I'm an ADHD student. I don't use like ADHD meds. So homework, school, like that shit takes me a long ass time. And that's just like barely scraping by. Like I get like C's and B's. I'm not a fucking A student. If I took amphetamines, maybe I could get A's, maybe. But it's like that's like with school being my only thing. If I and then maybe like, you know, a little bit of app, right? Last year I did Swift, although I'm taking a much heavier course load this semester. And I want to be more consistent with my habits and with journaling, reflecting, and with reading, because I really fell out of all of that. I didn't do any reading last semester, so it's like, I don't know, I guess a lot of this anger just comes from like feeling like I didn't do enough this summer. And it's like I kind of talked to a couple of my friends about this, or just one of my buddies, and he was saying, you know, look, you're young, you're 22, you've got plenty of time ahead of you. Just don't worry about doing it all right now. You know, just stick through or work through college, get through college, take it one step at a time. And obviously there is this need to be patient, and I think patience is really important. And I think I got really impatient today, so I was just like yelling. Well, actually I wasn't yelling, I was just kind of sitting there like, you know, sure, we've all been there from time to time. But okay, the point I really want to get to 6 minutes through is like, I'm in a pretty happy position. Like I don't need to like worry, because it's like I'm not gonna be homeless. I'm not gonna like not be able to feed myself. But I know something that comes with being in that kind of position is you can get complacent and you can get lazy and you can get weak. And I feel like I see this happen a lot, and I've seen it happen to myself, is you kind of get into this comfortable place where it's like you don't really have to act so aggressively because there's no fire under your ass. And as a result, it's like you don't really do all that you could do. And I feel like I'm always so afraid that I'm falling into that I'm just like, I constantly don't feel like I'm doing enough. And it's like, I don't know how to balance that. I don't know how to balance that, like, reality, I guess, that if I relax on myself just a little bit, if I like go easy on myself, if I go, hey, I'm gonna be patient, it's like really quick I can stop. Man, there's like a really good way to say this, and I'm too tired to find the right sentence. What is it? It's like a few months down the road, I could end up looking back and realize that I'm not who I could be, because I didn't do everything that I could do, and because I took little shortcuts, and because I relaxed at times where I didn't need to relax. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to become that. I think that sucks. I'm definitely in the kind of position where it's like that can happen, especially after a victory like this, like getting an app onto the App Store, getting ads on it. It's so easy to fall into this kind of like mindset, I guess, of like, oh, I don't need to worry. Like, look at me, I'm ahead of most people. I have an app on the App Store. Like, I'm like totally chilling. I don't think that that's true. Other people have like internships under their belt, which I don't have. Other people have a whole ass degree under their belt, which I don't have. So I don't want to fall into that kind of thinking. And then other people, you know, some people, it's like they've got that all under the belt, and you can't compare yourself to other people too excessively, but I think it's important to recognize the extent to which your accomplishments are impressive, but for lack of a better word, because are valuable, I guess, valuable. Because, yeah, you know, you can kind of get into that position where you get complacent. You think, hey, I've done it, I did it, and then you get complacent, and then I don't push myself as hard over the next few months, and then 6 months down the road, I'm further behind, further behind from where I could be, and I'm not making the kind of income that I could be making. And at this moment right now, I'm like, am I already at that point? And technically, no matter what, since like we're all human, I would assume, I hope, we're not like coding machines or like robots. That's always going to be the case. We're always going to be less than we could be. But that doesn't mean you don't do your best on a daily basis. But then on the flip side, it's like, look, I don't want to fall into all of that, and I don't want to grow complacent. I don't want to get weak because I'm in a secure and comfortable position. That's what it is. I don't want to get weak because I'm in a secure and comfortable position. It's so easy for that comfort to go to your head. It's so easy for these victories, these successes to go to your head. And then, but on the flip side, it's like, I feel like with the kind of mentality that I generally push myself into because I don't want to go down that path or that direction, I get so impatient and I get just like so angry, and I get into this really negative headspace that I know isn't strategically useful, and I know isn't, I guess virtuous isn't a bad word there, because it does lead you, I mean, virtue is I don't think you should, it's a complicated subject. But look, it's like Tony Robbins says, the emotions that you default to now are the emotions that you're going to default to when you have your successes and your victories. And I think I saw that today. Throughout this entire summer, I kind of had this impatience to get this app on the App Store that has ads. And it was like, man, if I could do that, I'm like, I'm in a good position. And it's like, now I'm here, and I had that like moment of like, yes, I did it this morning. But the entire day I've just been stressed and angry, and I've been, normally I'm like, hey, shoot from the hip. And I say that as a good thing. I don't know if I've said that on here before. Basically, I think there are two kinds of people. There's some people who are aim down sights kind of people, and there are some people who are shoot from the hip kind of people. And I'm a shoot from the hip kind of person. I just go out, I say, hey, fuck it, let's do some shit and see what happens. And I kind of it's like throwing Velcro at a Velcro stuff at a Velcro wall. You throw it and you see what hits. You're shooting from the hip. It's not like you're not being strategic, but it's like, just get the visual and you got it. You're shooting from the hip. Damn it, where the hell was I going from this? I gotta sleep so bad. Anyway, look. Yes, normally I'm a shoot from the hip kind of person, but today I feel like it was coming from a place of impatience and of desire and need, where I was like, I kept starting down certain paths and then reassessing and going a different direction, then reassessing and going a different direction. It was like every opportunity that there could be to chase, I wanted to go and chase that. And I think that kind of like overloaded my mind. And then it was like, I don't know. I was just not in a good headspace. Anyway, and so Tony Robbins shit. He was saying, emotions you default to, that's what you're going to default to when you're successful. I think today it's like I kind of defaulted to like just unhelpful emotions, despite that victory. So I don't know, something has to change. Something has to change in the way that I go about these goals and that I pursue these finances. And it's like, on one hand, I don't want to grow complacent, but on the other hand, I don't want to be impatient. There you go. I guess that sums it up. I don't want to grow complacent, but I don't want to be impatient.